Hello there. My name is Jeremy Thomas. I am in my shed because I give shed talks. I have a podcast, mental health podcast called Shed Talks. I give mental health talks to schools, to companies, to anyone who will listen, really. And I've been asked to talk to you. Mental health is quite a boring subject, isn't it? Because we're hearing about it all the time, ad nauseum, ad nauseum. What is it? Well, I believe that mental health is very, very straightforward, very simple. And that is, I believe it is an ability to cope with life as it happens, an ability to make good judgments, to make good decisions, and to react to things in a balanced way. That is what I think good mental health is. And there's a lot of stuff talked about it right now. And I want to just urge you to vote for the Common Sense Party and believe in a concept that is known as prevention is better than cure. And I'm somebody who I spent 20 years plus in the music business, have written 5 books, made a big documentary. But I've also had a very serious mental illness, really bad, lost everything that I had, house, fiance, status, job, loads of stuff. Learned how to overcome it and, eventually got it all back. So I talk from a point of view of experience. Fortunately for you, you don't have to hear all of that talk. What I learned was that, it's quite important if you look up at this thing here, the dashboard. I might even take it down. This is what I want to try and show you. And these are the tenets of good mental health. Um, and I'm going to talk about two or three because we've only got a little time. Um, Stress and a thing called trauma are really, the real trigger. They're the sort of culprits of mental health. When we get divorced, when we lose our job, when we lose our property, when our friend comes back from Afghanistan traumatized, those are traumatic things that can trigger poor mental health. I mean, very poor mental health. We all know about stress because we all hear it all the time. Oh, I'm so stressed out. But you guys have a big workload and a lot of stress to deal with. And we have to be on top of that. Your heads can become like washing machines on, full pelt, and you have to be in charge of your washing machine. And one of the ways, I'm going to just say it in this two things. Sleep is a really important thing. And that may sound obvious, it may sound rubbish. But if I bet you all £50 and I said if you went to see a psychiatrist, what would the first question they would ask you? It would be, how is your sleep? Sleep is the barometer of mental health. So, when we tend to wake up at 3, 4, 5, 6, it's normally because something is going on in our lives, in our heads, um, and indicating that all is not well. When we don't get sufficient sleep, that can make us extremely irritable, crabby. It can affect our, reactions, our decision making. And, there isn't time to say it in this except to say, really concentrate on getting good sleep and putting that, virtually before anything. And if you're like me, we all do this, don't we? We start the new day, we sit at our desk or at the breakfast table and go, right, I've got 36 things I'm going to do today. It's all going to be brilliant. And then very often, if we're feeling less than crisp, we end up not doing any of them on the list, but just rearranging the list. And I suggest to do 3 things, make a list of 3 things to do, and then another list of 3 things and to go from there. Very often, the root cause a lot of poor mental health is poor self-esteem. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is what we really believe about ourselves in the dead of night and what we think everybody else really thinks of us. And of course, a lot of us go, well, that's all nonsense. I'm absolutely fine. And those feelings I've got anyway, I just shove those under the carpet and that's quite all right. Self-esteem, when things are going wrong around us, that starts to erode. And when that starts to erode, a lot of other things do too. And there are many things you can do, but here are the most important. One is writing. Write down, the fact that you stole that, cow at 6 o'clock in the morning when you were 9 years old and pushed it into a bog and never told anybody, the cow bleated and everything. You felt terrible about it for years and years and years. Well, you can change that to anything you like or anybody you like. But when we have things that we've done in the past that we feel ashamed of, they can gnaw away inside us. When we get them outside of ourselves, write it down, get rid of it. You don't need to put it up on Farmers Weekly notice board. You just burn it, delete it, but you've got it out of yourself. And I think one of the big problems in farming is that you have to work so long hours, very hard, and often on your jacks, on your own. And I think the big thing, the biggest thing, is to find someone else in your life, maybe someone else who's a farmer working on farms, or they don't have to be, but somebody who could be a buddy who you could talk to twice weekly and offload, and they can offload you. It does involve you being able to listen, but it involves you being able to talk as well. I have a friend of mine in Somerset who's mad, really, great fun, mad. He does all sorts of things with cars, but he sort of secretly is quite a bad depressive, and he knows well, he's not a farmer, but he knows this farmer about 30 miles away across the county, and they do talk on Zoom 2 or 3 times a week, and it really does the trick. Because right now, the NHS is in a bit of a state. You don't want to just go, well, I'll get a doctor's appointment in 2 weeks, 5 weeks, and then wait 9 months to see a therapist, whatever. Actually, having somebody to talk to really counts. So I'm just going to leave it there for the moment and say to you, those are the dials. Very happy to download that for everybody. It is how much you work something, and you're worth it, as they say. I hate all that stuff. I know, I agree with you. But, the more you can put in to preventing bad mental health, the better. I hope this has been of some use. Tipped up and tidy. See you on the journey.